Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the playoffs. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Raptors. I'm your host, Atisham, my channel where you get reviews, analysis, predictions, and hot takes on all things Raptors as well as some NBA. So, the Raptors played the Atlanta Hawks today in a if we win, if they lose situation, and the Raptors come out on top. So, without further ado, let's talk Raptor versus the Hawks. So the Hawks are coming into this game on a 5-game winning streak. We're coming into this game after losing to the Miami Heat. And basically, this game is early important because if the Atlanta Hawks lose today and Cleveland Cavaliers lose today, the Raptors would be in the playoffs. And if the Raptors lose today, then they're still, fighting for that spot to remain in the playoffs or end up in the play-in situation. So the Raptors come out in this game. They weren't that aggressive in the start. Honestly, it seemed like they didn't have the energy, and Atlanta Hawks starts to get it going, and it just seemed like the Raptors might end up losing this game. It might be one of those days because the Raptors couldn't buy a three-pointer in this game, at least in the end of the first half is when we started to get it going from three. So what happens is that, Pascal decides to say, hey, hell no, I am not losing this game. I am not continuing to worry about getting into the playoffs. And he decides to put, I think it's Luowo Carbarone or something like that is his name on. Takes him to class, and he's just getting to the bucket at will. He's doing everything he wants to do. Gary Trent Jr. is sprinkling some points in there. So is Scotty Barnes. But Freddie is struggling. He just can't seem to buy a bucket. But he's still assisting the ball. The Raptors are, we lose that quarter by, I think, 4 points. And then, in the second quarter, we start to put the clamps on defensively. We start to restrict the lob pass that Clint Capella and, what's his name, Trae Young are known for. And but they're still making their 3-pointers. Kevin Huerter, white boy can shoot, man. So can Boban Bogdanovic. And they're doing, they're keeping themselves in the game. The Raptors, finally take a 4-point lead going into the halftime. And the third quarter is going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And at this time, the Raptors are starting to get it going from the 3-point line. Like, the guys you expect to make 3-pointers like Freddie VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., Precious Achiuwa, they're not doing it, but Chris Boucher and Siakam are just working off each other, and Chris Boucher nailed three 3-pointers to help the Raptors get a 10-point lead by, I think it's early fourth quarter, and actually becomes a 12-point lead. And then, at the 7-minute mark, the Raptors just go into a lull that we know, they tend to do at times. And because Freddie didn't have it going today, Gary Trent Jr. was on the bench, Spicy P was on the bank. The Raptors go 5 minutes, more than 5 minutes, without a bucket. But they're still doing it defensively, and then, the game gets tied. And it's off of, this drive-by Trae Young, and he's doing, yeah, I got this, yeah, well, fuck this guy, man. But, and then basically, the Raptors come from the other side. I think they call a play pressure, shoots a 3-pointer. He airballs it, and then Scotty Barnes is right underneath the basket. He puts it back in. The Raptors are up by 2 points at that time. And then there's about a minute and a half left, and, Freddie had some damn open looks before that to just, put a dagger in Atlanta, but he just couldn't do it. And then eventually the Raptors, Pascal tries to go down the lane, and he passes it out to, Freddie VanVleet, who finally nails a 3-pointer and puts us up by 5. And throughout this whole game, the Raptors had, I think, about 21 for 12 in their free throws. They were sucking in the free throw shooting. And the Raptors go to the other side. They get a defensive stop, and then it's just a foul game. And the funny thing is that the Raptors went 8 for 8 in the last minute of getting fouled. Like, come on, man. And throughout the whole game, it seemed like the Raptors were inconsistent from the free throw line. And that's something I'll get to. But eventually, the Raptors pull this game out. The Raptors win. The Raptors clinch playoffs, whether it's on the 6th seed or the 5th seed. So, it was a good night for us. Key takeaway number one is it's a negative one, guys. The Raptors struggle from the free throw line. I don't know what the hell's going on. They do make it as when they count the most, but we wouldn't be in situations where where the last minute is so vital. Where if we would have nailed all of our free throws, we missed at least 10 to free throws prior to the last minute of the game. Like, it's ridiculous. The Raptors need to value each and every one of the free throws that they get, especially they don't happen regularly. We don't get 24, 21 to 29 free throws in a game ever. It's very rare. So when we do get our free throws, it's very important for our guys to nail them, because if you nail your free throws, the refs are more inclined to give it to you because they find that as a reward system for your hard work. And if you're missing them, the refs are just like, fuck it, why would I waste the time of the game to go make you go to the game free throw line if you're just gonna miss every free throw that I give you? And it's just that worries me, especially because Jack said in the broadcast, in the playoffs, free throws matter because the games are so close, the games are slowed down, so you get a lot more foul calls that are more important. And if you're not nailing your free throws and you're letting the team stick in there, by missing free throws, you're going to end up putting yourself at risk of losing the game. Now, if you nail your free throws, we would have been up by 10 points, regardless of what the hell was happening. And, the Raptors would have had a comfortable win instead of, having a possible loss situation going on in the last minute or two. So that's something that worries me going into the playoffs. But the second thing is, guys, is that the Raptors are playing very well. And they're only going to get better. And the reason for that is we're missing OG Anunoby, and we're still doing very well. We were in the game against Boston. We actually beat Boston, actually. We were in the game against Miami Heat, and those were games without OG Anunoby. I think that Boston was. Anyways, we beat good teams without OG Anunoby. I remember Phoenix, Denver, those guys. And once he comes into the the lineup, the Raptors are gonna look even better defensively, and they're we're gonna have more offense. We're not gonna have we're gonna have consistent 3-point shooting. It might take him a while. I'm hoping he can play the last 1 or 2 games of the season. But even if he doesn't, the Raptors are going to be in that game because OG is just one of those guys. He has that rhythm because he puts in the work even when he's injured off the court. So we're going to look even better, and we're going to be a team to be reckoned with in the playoffs. And honestly, that's my third key takeaway, which is that I would like to see either Philadelphia or Milwaukee in the playoffs, because we've beaten both of those teams very handsomely in the season. Milwaukee, I think we swept them in the season series, or maybe it was like we lost 1 game to them. Same thing with Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is going through issues, and Doc Rivers is very, very overrated as a coach. So I don't respect him. He had Kevin Garnett, he had Ray Allen, he had Paul Pierce, he had Rondo to get him that championship. And ever since he doesn't have 4 Hall of Famers, he hasn't done a great job. And I would rather face, one of those 2 teams. Now, would I prefer Philadelphia over Milwaukee? Yes, I would. But those 2 matchups I would like better because we match up against them better. We have better defense against them. We have confidence against those teams. So it'll be better for us to see those teams rather than, somebody like Miami who has that deep, deep team. And Boston, who's just going hard right now, even though I think, they might choke in the playoffs, but you'd rather not go against a hot team. So that's what I have for the key takeaways, guys. MVP goes to Pascal Siakam. Man, this guy is playing on another planet. He put up 31 points, 10 rebounds. I think he had 8 assists today. He is doing damn well, and he's carrying this team on his back, especially whenever we are struggling. For example, Freddie doesn't have it going. Gary Trent doesn't have it going. We don't have OG Anunoby. This guy steps up in every game, and he's done that consistently since the second half of the season. And I hope he continues to do that in the playoffs. Whenever he sees a matchup against somebody, he says, I got this. This is my night. And that's what superstars do. They pick up on the matchups. So MVP goes to Pascal Siakam. And he's, I'm looking forward to exactly what he can do in the playoffs. So that's all I have for you guys for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. I'm very, very freaking excited. We are in the playoffs. Like I said, last season was an admiration. It was crap. It was just one of those outliers. And anybody that doubted us said that we were a play-in team at the start of the season, didn't know exactly what we were capable of. So we are where we were supposed to be at, especially given the adversity we've gone through. So I will see you guys after the game. I think we play Philadelphia next on Friday, or is that tomorrow? I don't know. Anyways, I will see you guys after the next game. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Please hit that like and subscribe button for my video. Let's hit that 100 subscriber. See you guys.